On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be having a look at DC Superheroes Wave 4, Lex Luthor. I don't know if there's any other reviews of this guy on YouTube, so I may or may not be the only guy reviewing him. So there you go. I don't have the packaging for this guy. I got a little bit of dirt there. I don't have the packaging for this guy. He was one of the figures that as soon as I got him, I had to open him up right away and actually have a look at the figure, because this figure is awesome. However, even though I don't have the packaging with me, I do have the packaging for, I'll move this guy at the back here, I do have the packaging for Darkseid here, which I will also be reviewing from Wave 4. Now, the interesting thing is, for Wave 3, it seemed as though they... I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Wave 4. It is interesting to see that they went back to doing the comic books, whereas Wave 3, I might have even got those two confused, but the fact that Wave 3 gave you a backdrop, and then Wave 4 now has gone back to the comics. The comics make more sense if you ask me. I think the backdrop is such a stupid idea. But on the back of the packaging, we have the other characters in the wave. We have this Superman, which somebody asked me if I had this figure. I had this figure and I got rid of him. He was a piece of crap. They reused this figure. I'm not sure what wave it was. It was like the DC Action Heroes or something like that, and they had the Superman. They just reused him, and the Superman is terrible. If I still have him, I thought I got rid of him, but if I still have him, I'll do the review and you guys can actually see how bad he is. But we also have Lex Luthor, we have Brainiac, a very cool Brainiac, we have Darkseid, and then, as I mentioned before with my Superman and Supergirl reviews, they re-released the two with the dark Superman symbol instead of the yellow. This Superman also had red eyes, and this Supergirl had the black skirt and the black boots. I prefer the original Supergirl better, just because I don't remember her ever having a black skirt and black boots in the comics, and this Superman just is a repaint. It wasn't worth me picking him up. But there we have the packaging on the Wave 4. Let's get actually a closer look now at Lex Luthor, because he's more interesting, I think, than those other characters. The detailing on him is quite nice. If you've actually seen my review of the Mr. Freeze figure, I commented that his boots, I believe, were reused. And if I'm not mistaken, they were reused to this Luthor. His boots do look almost exactly the same. His arms also look exactly the same. So I'm almost convinced they reused the same arms also. That aside, though, I mean, the Luthor is really nice. The detailing on his face is quite nice. I've seen a couple of auctions on eBay where they've taken this head from Luthor and they've put it on the Clark Kent body, so you can actually get a businessman Luthor. But I do always like the green armor suit that he has here. I mean, every time I see it, it reminds me of the Superpowers line. Always love it. Always love it. And it was nice to see that the Justice League cartoon Luthor eventually got his armor. It was a little different than this, but very, very similar though. He has articulation. His articulation is in his head. He gets free range of movement. Although it's only left to right, you can't actually tip the head up or down. He has articulation in the shoulders, in his arm, in his elbow, in his hand. He also has articulation in the waist, although not very much, just because of the way that this was molded. He's got articulation in the legs, in the knees. He's also got it in the calves and also in his boot. Now I find with the Luthor boots, this one isn't so bad, but this one I find is really loose. And as a result, sometimes the figure topples over just because this foot gives way. But really, really, really nice, guys. I really like this figure. It's probably one of my favorite DC Superheroes figures. I don't know if they're going to give this guy the same treatment with a DC Universe figure. It would be nice to kind of see this guy in a DC Universe, just to kind of see what they do with him, the Four Horsemen. But you'll also notice he is sporting a really nice gun. I'll take the gun out here for a second. And it's a kryptonite gun, which is really neat. Now, originally when I had this figure on display, I took the kryptonite out, and I just thought it was neat to have him holding his gun and also wielding a bar of kryptonite. It wasn't until I looked at the packaging that I'm like, oh, that kryptonite goes into the gun. But I kind of, sometimes if I have him on display, and I've got Superman here as well, sometimes I'll actually have him on display with the kryptonite in his hand, and sometimes I'll put it back in his gun, just because you never know, sometimes you end up losing these things, and I would hate that. But, oh, I almost did lose it. But really nice sculpt even on the kryptonite. It's got that nice see-through green plastic. But, I mean, overall, really, really nice figure, guys. The Luthor from Wave 4, or Wave 3. I'm pretty sure this guy is from Wave 4, because if I'm not mistaken, this guy came out after the Batman wave. But there you have it. There is a toy spot on the DC superheroes Lex Luthor in his robotic armor, or his battle armor, if you want to call it that. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.